All right, folks, we are going to get started. Welcome to our first edition of a Webinar Wednesday for 2020, and we are going to be kicking off our series today with a good conversation around business continuity, and if you are ready for the uncertain future. And we have a lot of great webinars coming up. I'll talk about that in a minute. However, I do have an awesome guest today, and his name is Trevor Manzel. So Trevor Manzel, if you'd like to take a minute to introduce yourself and say who you are and what you do for XenTegra.
Thanks, Pete. So no, I appreciate you. I feel honored to have the first spot here of 2020. How about that? So this is actually, I don't think we haven't done one together yet as far as this goes. So I'm excited. So but just real quick, I lead our longtime Citrix guy. Used to work with Pete back in the day. I mean, we go way back. So but I've been with XenTegra for going on 4.5 years, and I lead our managed services organization. That includes our hosting, our support teams, and so excited to be here.
Cool, yeah, thank you for joining us today, Trevor. So I appreciate it. And my name is Pete Downing. I'll be the host, and I am the Chief Marketing and Technology Officer for XenTegra. And like Trevor, I too have a pretty good background in Citrix and all things end user computing. So excited to get these relaunched and have a lot of great guests and topics coming up in the next few weeks. So I'll be talking about that in a minute and how you can track those. Just some quick housekeeping. So we are on GoToWebinar, and you'll notice there is a Q&A dialog box in your dashboard. So please do ask questions as we go through the content today. Today's format's going to be a little different. We're going to be a little bit more conversational, and I'm going to be teeing up Trevor with some cool questions, and we'll talk about business continuity and how it's currently affecting us all. So we're going to have a really good session today. And again, if you are interested, there will be a recording after this. So if you want to share it with friends and colleagues, please do. So very loose agenda today. One of the things I want to do is I love to do polls, as we all know. So I'm going to take a couple polls just to see where everybody's head's at around business continuity. And then we're going to jump into a quick overview on what is XenTegra's MSP offering and how do we fit into the whole notion of business continuity. And then we'll have a little fun and ask Trevor some questions and get some thoughts on, how XenTegra is helping with the current events, and also where Citrix, Microsoft, and some of our other key offerings fit in to help you guys navigate this uncertain future. So if you don't already, please bookmark this page, XenTegra.com/webinars. We have a lot of great webinars coming up. Guests like Liquidware, RingCentral, ControlUp, Nerdio. So we have a lot of great guests coming up, and that list is going to continue to grow as I get folks to sign up for the slots. So keep an eye out for that. Parallel to that, I am going to launch another series, so keep an eye out for that as well. I'm going to keep that a little surprise. So definitely bookmark this page, and you definitely want to bookmark our events page as well. So XenTegra.com/events. We have a lot of great events online right now that we're going to continue to run. And then once we're able to, we'll start coming back to a city possibly near you. And we have great events focused on Citrix, Microsoft, WED, and Azure, as well as a new one that I'm launching around VMware. And then we're also going to be spinning up a couple other cool events, so keep an eye out for those. And then finally, if you're interested in podcasting, we are doing a lot of different podcast series. One especially, which is called the Citrix Session. You definitely want to check that out. So if you go to XenTegra.com/podcast, that's going to give you a lot of great podcasts. It's up to 25 episodes, a lot of great content, and easy listening. So very informal, very straight edge, and as far as keeping it honest. And I love Andy for doing that, and a lot of great content. So more recently, we've done one on the recent announcement around 2003 for the Citrix releases, debate around VPN or not. So there's a lot of great concepts up there, and definitely check that out. All right, so a couple little polls here to get you guys involved and see if people are awake. So the first poll is a very easy poll, just out of curiosity. What public cloud are you considering, or in some cases, what public cloud is your favorite? And you can pick one. And again, this is totally anonymous. The others can't see who's answering. And it's a good way to set the tone on, what is your cloud strategy? So I'll give it a couple seconds and we'll let folks answer. And for some of the visitors from XenTegra, if you want to take an answer on what's your favorite one, feel free. All right, give it a couple more seconds. Going once, going twice, and 3 times, and here we go. So we got a lot of folks who are big Azure shops and fans, which is great. And we'll talk a little bit about how XenTegra is enhancing Azure and what we do around Azure. And then we do have a lot of great traction on Google Cloud. Andy Whiteside, our CEO and founder, is doing a lot of great stuff with Google and Google Cloud, so keep an eye out for that. And then, if you're still cloudy, I get it, and we'll try to talk a little bit about how cloud can fit into your business continuity plan. It doesn't necessarily have to be infrastructure as a service. It can also be a software as a service or an as a service offering as well. So cloud means a lot of things to a lot of people. And I think, Trevor, you would agree. All right.
It does.
Yeah, exactly. Office 365. So where are you guys at with Office 365? And again, the goal here is to understand, what's your deployment look like. So if you're doing Exchange on premise / hybrid, pick that first option. I just realized I didn't put my updated answer for that one. If you're doing 100% Exchange online, pick that one. If you're currently deployed, you're currently deploying. Yeah, I'd love to know if you are in the middle of a deployment, because we have a lot of great options. If it's on the radar, let us know. And then finally, hey, you're a Google Chrome Enterprise shop. Awesome. We do see that. I, on average, see 1 or 2 a session, depending on how many folks we get. All right, so last call for final answers. And we are going to share that. So we got a lot of folks. It's almost 50-50 split. Now, one of the things we'll talk about in a little bit is we can help you. So if you're thinking about going to Office 365 and your biggest hurdle is your mailbox, definitely work with XenTegra. We can help you figure out strategies on, mailbox migrations, data retention, policies, et cetera. We have a great service that we offer to help you with moving to Office 365. All right, so the final question, very simple one. How would you rate your business continuity plan? So 1 is, hey, you're not ready. 3 is kind of in the middle, and 5 is, hey, you think you're 100% and you're ready for anything. So again, yeah, kind of loaded question, but hey, a little fun here just to see what people think of their business continuity planning. So again, your opinion, obviously, and we'll wait a couple seconds and see what comes in. And I can guess who answered 5. All right, going once, going twice, and going 3 times, and we got a good spread here. So we got a lot of folks in the middle, which is what I expect. I think, no business continuity plan is ever going to be perfect. However, if you've been a shop that's been working remotely for the majority of your ever since you started, then hey, you get how to work remotely. And I think that's the key thing is, how to work remotely, how to be effective, and how to properly engage employees when they're spread out. And so I think that's a big piece of not only business continuity, but making sure you keep your employees involved and feel like they're part of the organization. All right, so let's jump in, and thank you for playing with the polls. The polls are fun just because it helps us understand what our audience is. So we have our social media, so definitely give us a follow on LinkedIn, Twitter, pick your poison. Everything from Instagram, and then we do have a YouTube channel. And again, if you're interested in podcasts, definitely follow us. The podcasts are available on Spotify, iTunes, and all the different channels around podcasts. So whatever your flavor is on a podcast world, definitely give us a follow, and you'll hear on average 1 a week, sometimes 2 a week. So let's talk about business continuity. So the theme of today is going to be business continuity, but we want to hone in on what is XenTegra doing to help you with not only today, but the future. And when we think about business continuity is, can you work remotely in the event of a disaster, right? And so that disaster can be everything from what's going on today to a snowstorm, to a hurricane, to anything that disrupts your workforce. And so our goal today is to really highlight some of the offerings that XenTegra is offering around business continuity, but more importantly, our division, which is called XenTegra Connect. So XenTegra Connect is our managed service provider division, and it is what Trevor currently is the main owner of and runs, and we're going to plug in Trevor to some of this conversation. So, we're excited because the MSP is a big part of our business, the managed service provider side of our house, and we're excited to share some of the things we're going to be doing over the next years to come. So if we look at this picture, I think we've all been here, done that. So if you're in IT, nothing is worse off than getting a phone call in the middle of the night and saying you got to come in and fix problem X or problem Y, or user has an issue, especially if you're in like healthcare or any scenario where you are a 24/7 shop or you have a worldwide presence. And so the reason why I like to show this photo is because what if you could defer your support to somebody else? And that's one of the great offerings we do have around anything we talk about today. Is anything we talk about, we do provide support. So the value add here is, hey, now you don't have to worry about your Citrix environment. You can lean on us to be your level 2, level 3 support. And so I think, one of the values of unmanaged service offering is you can defer the support structure to us, and we can be your peace of mind 24/7 and allow you to focus on the things that matter, making sure your users have a good experience. And so what is XenTegra Connect? XenTegra Connect is a managed service offering by XenTegra. It's one of our divisions. And yes, we do hosted offerings, and we're going to talk about some of those in a second. But more importantly, we manage those offerings. So for example, I can come in and help you get Citrix up and running, and we have two scenarios. We can either host it, or we can get it up and running in Azure, or we can even go and get it up and running in your data center and then manage it for you. So there's a lot of different ways we can tackle how we get something up and running, but ideally, yeah, we can host it in our data center or up in Azure and then manage it for you. And then finally, the support is key. So we can go in and not only make sure it's running, but also support it. So if an issue comes up, it's not going to be, oh, I got a Citrix issue, I need to call Citrix support. No, we'll do that for you. And in some cases, we also can troubleshoot Azure. We can troubleshoot all the tools we deal with because we know the tools. So the value here is you get a multiple solution stack under one vendor. And again, the key here is no worries. So your goal is simple. I just want to get something running and not have to worry about it. And that's really big in the arena of business continuity, is knowing that you have your service and you can get to it. And so Trevor, here's some examples of some of the services you offer. And I don't know if you want to take a minute and you want to highlight a few of these, but we offer a lot of great services. And I guess, what are your favorite ones here, and what excites you about some of the services up on this slide?
Yeah, no, thanks, Pete. So, I think a few things to note here. I mean, we're XenTegra. We're very focused, and why we're successful, from a consulting project perspective, is that focus, and this is no different, right? So we're and the core offerings really, are around Citrix managed services, whether that's CVAD, virtual workspaces, SD-WAN as a service, or ADC managed services. Those are really the core of what we do now. And you can kind of think of Citrix managed services as we become. It can either be we're your Citrix team, and you have a liaison that interacts with our team, from that perspective in IT, or it can be just one portion. It could be just the, hey, I want XenTegra to come in and manage our ADC environment. So that's one, that's really, I would say that, like, the center, this, the solution core that we're coming to the market with here. But also, another thing to note here is that, when we talk about CVAD, we're talking about, it is a solution. There's a full underlying stack that makes Citrix successful. And so, that includes monitoring, patching, endpoint management, backup strategy. All those things obviously are endpoint, the endpoint piece. All those pieces come together, to allow you to execute well on the Citrix solution itself. So the offerings can be, hey, I want XenTegra to be our fully managed, be our Citrix team, or it can be, hey, I just want to augment my existing Citrix team with whether it's monitoring, patching, endpoint management, or so on. So it's not an all or nothing type of thing. And then it might just be, hey, I just need support. I need more of a, not necessarily a proactive service, but a reactive, backup type service, like our support agreements, which are great. We, a lot of our customers leverage those. So we'll go in and do a project. Once that goes live, the consultant goes on to its next project. Then that's where the support team would take it from there. So, and all these come with, full 24/7 SLAs. So whether it's, in the middle of the night or business hours, we've got your back there.
Cool. And so yeah, this kind of brings us to our next slide, which is the hosted scenario. So cloud, like I said earlier, it means a lot to, depending on who you talk to, and we offer different offerings on top of whether it's public cloud, our own hosted cloud, but we can also manage, on top of a public cloud as well. So can you highlight some of the stuff we're doing around, just general cloud offerings?
Yeah, so we're, like you said, we're a big Azure shop, but from a desktop as a service, it's a hybrid solution. So it's backed by our Equinix data centers. We're in AT4 and SV2 out of Santa Clara, and we're essentially, the thing, even across managed services and across our hosted services, we have what we call our XenTegra blueprint, and essentially what that is it's all of our best practices, and it's kind of a dynamic thing because we're always doing projects, we're always learning new things, whether it's in an upgrade of a new patch or a combination of solutions that we have a dynamic blueprint that we're leveraging, and that's a lot of this is all part of the hosted core here that you're getting. So whether it's desktop as a service in our cloud, or it's whether that's hosted in Azure or Equinix, you get that XenTegra blueprint. So, and also, and it doesn't necessarily need to be part of the managed service or hosting. We can come in and help you implement, from a consulting perspective, implement that same blueprint. So, but I think that's where the value is. Whether there's going to be different customers' needs, right? There's going to be some that they're going to be, the majority of them are going to be hosting their own data center or cloud environment, and they just need augmentation. And then there's customers that maybe they do, and then they need to be able to burst, like in a kind of the situation that we're in now for business continuity. And so we've got customers that are coming to us to allow their call, providing additional desktop pools for their call centers and things like that. So yeah, so it's so we're excited. For a number, it's been the managed service and hosting's got going about 2.5 years ago, and we've the whole idea here is that we're really good at what we do, and from a consulting perspective, we added a lot of value over the years in that capacity. But there's always this gap of, hey, we're on to the next project, and we really didn't have an offering set to go ahead and extend that. And so we're all excited, and there's, a lot of, this is a big growing area of our business. So
cool. Yeah. So that brings me to the final slide of all our other offering is what we call our pay-as-you-go offering. Obviously, we could probably spend another hour talking about all these offerings. So let's keep it simple here, and pick two of your favorites here, and why they're your favorites as far as offerings that you like as part of the MSP stack.
Yeah, that's kind of hard, but I'll take a shot at it here. I mean, bottom line, what we're talking about here is these provide us the ability to do pay as you go, right? So and so in the past, I mean, most people when you're buying licensing, you might have a lot of licensing that sits on the shelf that doesn't get leveraged, or you're over purchasing. So the concept here in the service provider world is, hey, you can actually you can pay for it from an OpEx perspective monthly and pay for what you use versus having to pay up front for annual or 3 years. So that's the big one. But as far as just solutions here, I mean, obviously Citrix service provider is key for especially this, for bursting, especially for business continuity, right? And just being able to expand your licensing for some period of time temporarily. And PrinterLogic's man, I'll tell you what, that's one that printing has always been a challenge in our world, and it's gotten a lot better, obviously. But PrinterLogic is such a we've grown to really love it, and it's part of our blueprint, from a hosted perspective and managed service perspective. And it's not just, one thing I like about it is it's not just for your virtual workspace environment. It's across holistic, wall to wall, to kind of address your overarching printer struggles. So yeah, I'll leave it there.
Yeah. So again, if you're on the call and you have any questions on any of the other services we offer, definitely ask. But we could probably send a webinar on each one of these, and maybe that's a goal for us, Trevor, is we can talk about each one of these offerings in a dedicated webinar in the future. So keep an eye out for those. And then finally, just before we get into the fun Q&A, I want to highlight a couple of partnerships. So we are a Citrix service provider, and we're also a Microsoft Gold partner. So, Trevor, can you highlight what that really means to our listeners? So can you highlight what does it mean to be a CSP, and then what does it mean to be a Microsoft Gold partner? And those are pretty big achievements as a VAR. So can you highlight, I guess first off, let's focus on Citrix. So what does it mean to be a CSP, and what's the value to a potential customer?
Yeah, so it's essentially, the CSP program is really geared towards customers that are either being managed or hosted and delivering, or there's a bundled service, whether it's, let's just say for our example, DAS. Hey, I'm delivering a DAS for a particular cost per user per month. That program is really geared towards that type of model. And Microsoft, that's really all the service provider, the vendors out there most of them have service provider programs, and they're really geared towards, putting together solutions and selling them in a kind of an easy button model, right? And so we're obviously a part of that, and a part of Microsoft's CSP program, and that includes SPLA, for our internal data center, Microsoft licensing, and also we're a direct cloud solution provider for Microsoft as well. So whether it's Azure, Office 365, Microsoft 365, all their full cloud full cloud stack we can provide with that program. So, and
Sweet.
we're direct, right? There's a couple. I mean, there's indirect CSPs and there's direct CSPs. Indirect typically are going through an additional distribution type partner, but and then you've got Microsoft, our just overarching partnership, which you have to do so much. There's a level of business that you have to be doing in order to achieve that number. Quite a few certifications in order to engineering, sales, marketing type things in order to meet that. So it's something that we took a while to get us to that spot, but I think we've been gold partner for at least, I don't know, it might be 3 years now.
Yeah, and one of the things I'm loving doing lately is I've been getting very involved with the Windows Virtual Desktop pilot programs that Microsoft is doing. So if you're interested in Windows Virtual Desktop, definitely reach out. There's a lot of great incentives to take advantage of not only Azure, but also Microsoft WVD. So, all right.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Hey, Pete, just one other thing on that. We're also part of their WVD Lighthouse partner program. So that's something that we're kind of a good fit for that. But yeah, just to Pete's point, there's a lot of funds out there right now to leverage for services and for cloud credit. So if you're looking at WVD, you're looking at just Azure, Office 365, anything like that. There's a lot of free money to be had for projects.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, but I like free money. So all right, so let's jump into a couple questions that will hopefully spawn some cool questions. So, all right, so let's hone in on the first question, which kind of tees up on the whole topic today of business continuity. So it's business continuity has always been a big part of the Citrix story, and now even more so. So how do you think this is going to change how businesses approach business continuity once we get past this event that we're in right now? So this whole working from home and the issue with the pandemic that we're currently in. And what do you think? Do you think this is a temporary thing, or do you think businesses are truly going to learn from this? And how are we helping with that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, hey, we've kind of been in this world, so it's kind of strange in a way, right? I just remember like years ago, pandemic was one of the business cases for virtual workspace, and I don't think that really resonated very well back then. Maybe I think more in the Asia Pac area. It really, obviously this is not their first rodeo with something like this, but yeah. So I think I think there's going to be honestly, I think customers are going to, or in IT, they're just businesses in general are going to see that, there's going to be more of a priority. And so that's going to mean different things at different companies. And, I would say that, after it passes, I mean, they're going to probably gravitate to where they've been before, but I think there's going to be more funds and priority around making sure work from home is available. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes, but I think people are going to have to get used to. I think the biggest thing is just business getting used to having workers that are not normally work at home type users, trusting that work is getting done and there's productivity there. And I think what's probably going to spawn out of this, I think we've talked about, is like solutions that help, I guess, give them a little bit more warm and fuzzies, and tracking metrics about about what kind of activity is getting done. That could be a potential thing to kind of help organizations get over it until they can I think what they'll end up realizing is that there's more work, there's more productivity at home potentially, kind of after, after these users get, they get over the newness of working at home, and I think it's going to be more productive. There's less distractions at home typically for most people.
Yeah, and I think you and I were talking about this when we were getting ready for the call today. We're currently investigating something to help with this problem, right? So being able to see, not necessarily micromanage a user, but at least see that they're actually efficiently working remotely, correct?
Yeah, so we've had some requests for that, and as much as you hate the whole concept of big brother watching, I mean it's a huge concern for a lot of executives out there that their workforce isn't being productive, and so we've deployed a solution at one customer to be able to kind of track the productivity activity of other users, and so far I think they've been it's been a good thing, right? The people that are productive when they're in the office are going to be productive at home most likely, right? The ones that aren't probably, or you probably know the ones that aren't going to be productive, but I think it's going to help a little bit.
Yeah, no, I agree. All right, so let's have fun and get to the next question. So what type of things are we doing? So XenTegra is doing to help our clients and customers and potential prospects as it relates to the business continuity. So what's a couple examples that we're doing to enable our clients and customers to navigate this uncertain time right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is that I think most customers had some work from home capability, right? I think, because there's been such a trend towards, I mean, whether it's Citrix or other EUC solution out there, most customers had something, and different levels and they were using it at different levels. And then just a surge to cloud-based, SaaS-based apps and just cloud infrastructure. I mean, I'm glad I think that is really, saving our bacon in a lot of ways, to keep businesses running. So, I mean, honestly, what I've seen is like, we're just helping customers move they're running into scaling issues, right? From a software, whether it's software licensing perspective, or hardware. So we're, helping, and they're running into issues with, hey, I've got new user groups that have never been remote, and they include like new apps. So there's a lot of, from an engineering consulting perspective, there's a lot of work being done from that perspective, helping getting customers going and kind of smoothing out the rough edges. From a hardware perspective, we're helping spin up cloud-based desktops, and application environments to help, from a burst perspective, to get some of these customers working. But I think everybody's, at least at a minimum, is run into kind of that software, just I don't have enough license. I never bought enough licensing or hardware for 100% of my environment.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so you mentioned the XenTegra blueprint earlier. Can you kind of talk about a little bit more about how that's helping you guys leverage, and keep our services? I guess my take here is that's going to help us stay consistent, right? And so I think consistency is key, especially with stuff that we do every day. So how's that helping you guys when you start rolling out these various offerings with your services?
Yeah, I mean, good way to think of it. It's not ingenious. It's a known working solution stack, right? And configuration that's been tested, and we have kind of a proven history with it. So that's great. The concept is great, but honestly, we live in a dynamic world. There's Windows updates and firmware updates just being released like at super fast paces. So it's a very dynamic thing. But when we talk about the XenTegra blueprint, it's, hey, you're getting the benefit of what we've, the experience that we've are having with other customers, whether it be in a project, support, or a managed service or hosted. So as we, just like the benefits of cloud, right? When they roll out updates in the cloud, they do it in such a way that they don't change it, for 100% of the environment all at one time. They roll it in. And so kind of think of the XenTegra blueprint in that way, is that we come in and give you a roadmap, whether it's from a consulting perspective or a managed service perspective, of where we need, where we would recommend you go to, and we help you with change management. And because it only takes one patch to ruin the whole stack, right? And lock everybody out for the and it could be, it could be the profile management update. It could be the Office 365 update. Could be your NetScaler gateway update. Just go down through the list. And so that's really what we're a lot of that's I would say the biggest value point for XenTegra, managed services is that. I mean, just and it obviously doesn't lock you. We're not trying to lock you into a particular solution stack or config, but we want to, at a minimum, give you a roadmap to success of something known, working, and good, to provide stability in the environment, which is, I think everybody can probably relate to it. The solution can be challenging, right? Especially when it's constantly being updated.
Yeah, exactly. So Trevor, quick question that came in, so is it, let's say I'm a customer and, I have my own data center. Are you guys able to manage, let's say, Citrix within my data center? Is that an option as well? So you can, as you said, augment my staff, but keep it in my data center?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Okay.
That's, I would say the majority of our managed service, Citrix managed services, is, we're managing other people's environments in their data center, right?
Cool.
So,
all right.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
All right, let's have a fun question. So, where do you think customers are struggling today, based on some of the stuff you've been working on, working from home, so working remotely, the remote worker in the current situation?
Well, I think we already hit it. I think we kind of already kind of talked about this. I think it's if other than just life, just making sure the environment can actually handle it. I think one thing we didn't talk about is, I guess, what are people, if they don't have a really good, virtual workspace type remote work from home solution, what are our customers doing to get people productive? And I think we're all seeing, people are just throwing up VPNs and doing RDPs back into desktops and, within their organization. I think those scenarios are not only, it might get them productive, but, there's some really concerns around security and doing a lot of that. And so, I think that's something that people are having to deal with right now. And but hey, you got to do, at the same time, you've got to do what you got to do. It's kind of we're all having to deal with new things, new challenges. So,
yep.
But I think that's, I think that's, I would say, the big part, other than just scaling up. I think that's really, the biggest things there. I don't know what your opinion is, what you've seen.
Yeah, no, I do agree. I think that it's definitely testing the limits of, an environment, the architecture, et cetera. But I think another big piece, and it's something that we do enable, is collaboration. So, a lot of companies that are used to having employees come into the office day in and day out, now all of a sudden they're all working from home. Well, how do I collaborate? And so collaboration tools is going to be key. And we obviously partner with Ring Central, and then through Office 365, you can also leverage Teams. So you have kind of option A, option B. Each has its pros and cons, but the value of that is it creates the connectivity and collaboration, and I think that's a big issue too, is people who are not used to being a remote worker, they have to learn and teach themselves how to collaborate in a remote setting. And I think that's one of the bigger challenges I see just anecdotally from watching some of my friends around professionally in the industry, is that if they're not used to working remote, it's hard to get used to. So it's a discipline, right?
Yeah, no, yeah, I mean, psychologically it's tough. I mean, we even see it in, I mean, if you work from home and you have, like, we both work from home most of our careers, but we've traveled, right? And so we're going out and visiting customers, and so you have that variation. I think the challenge comes when you work from home 100% and you don't have that variable, that variation. It's psychologically can be tough. So I think that's, I mean, I think everybody's starting to feel that, but yeah, I think you hit on one, like Office 365, Teams, Slack. I mean, these are a big part of being able to collaborate and work at home successfully. I think that I think we've just got a ton of tools. I think we've got a lot of great technology and solutions to deal with this. I think we're in a good spot from a technical perspective. I think the challenges are, well, I don't even know the challenges. It's just the opportunity here is to actually fully leverage the investments that most of these companies that have already made. I mean, whether it's Teams, whether it's Slack. I mean, it's now it's time to use them. Right.
Yeah, no, I agree. And again, it's for folks who have worked from home as part of their career consistently, it's a second nature, right? It's you do it every day. But for those who are new to it, it takes a lot of getting used to, and it's a big discipline to have a mentality. Hey, I'm working remotely. I got to have a space that I work from. So yeah, a little bit falls on the user. But the architecture matters as well, and how they can get to their apps and desktops is key as well. So having the proper infrastructure in place is critical. So, all right, so that's a great overview on like business continuity and how XenTegra and XenTegra Connect is helping. But that said, if you have any questions at all, please put them in the Q&A dialogue, and we're definitely willing to answer them. And while you guys are thinking up some questions, let's hone in on a little bit of who is XenTegra, and what else do we do aside from our managed services. And one of the things you'll find is Andy, our founder and CEO, when he started XenTegra, it was around the notion of enablement. And enablement is one of our biggest things we do. So if you go on our website, go to events, you'll see we do a lot of great events that are focused on not only teaching and learning, but also giving you knowledge and an understanding of what various products do. And we do that because we want to enable the community and enhance the community. But that said, we also want to be a good partner. So we always approach partnerships very differently, and we try to enhance the partnerships, and we treat all our partners like a customer as well. So Andy built XenTegra with this in mind, and that's a kind of a core to our mission, is enabling our customers and being a true partner. So again, who are we? We can sell everything from Citrix, Microsoft, PrinterLogic, any of the vendors we mentioned today. I can sell you, but more importantly, you want someone to come in and implement it. And whether it's Trevor's team or you think you can do it, and you want to just have someone come in and help you, we have a full consultant bench, a great group of consultants, very experienced. I'd say if I were going to do quick math right now, I'd say over 100 years of experience across our bench right now. And then finally, we can be great advisors. So you can schedule time with Andy, myself, Trevor, and we can kind of sit on the phone, and you can vent to us if you want. I'll listen. I'm a good listener. I don't know about you, Trevor, but I'm a good listener. So if you want to just talk to us and get some food for thought, definitely set up some time with Andy, myself, or Trevor, and we can talk about your environments. But the real value of working with a partner is that single vendor, that single stream, and you're able to not only get one product, you're able to get a solution, and that's key. So when you implement Citrix, for example, it's not just Citrix, it's an end user compute solution. So it's Citrix plus IGEL plus Azure, maybe. And when you make a phone call to support, you don't want to get the answer that, oh, it might be Microsoft, you need to call them. No, you want to have someone that says, no, I've seen this issue before, we can help you. And that's the value of working with a partner like XenTegra. So again, if you're not a customer, we'd love to earn your business, and really think about the value that you're currently getting from your current partner or integrator. So again, anything that we talked about today, we can dig deeper, and someone will follow up with you post this webinar. But definitely set up some time. If you want to set up some time, talking through some of the concepts we talked to today, we can get on Trevor's calendar. One of the other things we do that's very unique to the industry is we do what's called free micro assessments. So we have a Citrix assessment, we have a NetScaler assessment, and we also have a networking assessment. So those are three things you can consider as part of getting to know XenTegra. And I call that, the XenTegra interview. You get a taste of how we work in our methodologies via a free 4-hour commit. So it's a very cool offering that we do, and it gives you good food for thought. And if you saw something today that we didn't cover and you want to get a little deeper, definitely reach out. We can talk about a lot of the vendors that were on those slides previous and give you a demo. And I joke and say, you know what, IT doesn't sleep. We all know that. So if you want to talk further about how XenTegra Connect can help you, please reach out. And if you have a project and you're stalled out right now, definitely give us a call. We can help you get back on track, get you implemented, and hopefully help you with your business continuity needs. So with that, I'm going to do one final call for questions, and I'm going to throw one final call over to Trevor to see if he has any final closing thoughts while we wait for questions. So Trevor, any final thoughts on today's session?
No, hey, I appreciate you getting this all set up, and I've enjoyed the conversation, and I think we have good news. I think we've got I think most of us have, our customers are in a good place or getting to a good place, and so we're just excited that we can actually help our customers in a meaningful way.
Yeah, cool, man. Well, yeah, thanks for taking the time to join us today. And again, you have myself, I'm Pete Downing, and you have Trevor Manzel, who is our CIO and MSP, VP of MSP. You can see that's how you get in touch with us on the slide. And if you have any questions at all, please reach out, and vice versa. Someone will probably hit you up post this webinar to talk through some of the concepts we talked about today. So with that, I'm going to say thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And thank you, Trevor, for taking time out of your day. And we are going to come to a close on our first webinar Wednesdays of 2020. Join us next week. We got two great guests. I got a double header next week. I got RingCentral in the morning, and I got IGEL Technology in the afternoon. We're going to be talking about how RingCentral is helping enterprises navigate, this whole remote worker scenario. And then in the afternoon, we're going to talk about IGEL and some of the new things they're doing with their new OS update, as well as their WVD integration. So next week, same time, same channel, and I look forward to seeing some of you next week as well. So everybody, have a great day. And Trevor, thanks for joining us.
All right, thank you. Thank you, everybody.